Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Corner Office. And it would be part of the DC's Business Spotlight that this episode is going to be as well. And I'm your host, Jay. This podcast is sponsored and brought to you by Connectix. Connectix helps small to medium businesses by providing virtual assistant and virtual teams so that the business owners and the CEOs can focus on doing on doing what they do best, which is with the business. So that's it from the sponsors, and let's move on with today's episode. So, as part of the DC Business Spotlight, as I mentioned at the very outset, joining with us today is someone who is incoming, someone with respect in the tech, and from the company itself, Respect the Tech, one of the founders we have with us, Marc Lawrence. Welcome on the show, Mark.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate it. It's good to be here.
Glad to have you as well on a busy Friday afternoon or Friday evening, rather.
hmm
So, love the name, Respect the Tech. Love the brand, love what you guys are doing,
Thank you. Thank
but
you.
that's all that I know. But the audience would love to know more as well.
Yeah.
So let's break the ice. Let's say how you came up with Respect the Tech, the journey so far.
Yeah, for sure. I can tell you everything. So, Respect the Tech. We are a brand. We are, I like to say, an organization that represents for our generation in terms of enabling and motivating successful technology. Hence the name Respect the Tech. We focus on a lot of different things, mainly education, right? I specialize in cybersecurity. My co-founder, he specializes in cybersecurity. And we've been in the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia, and we've had workshops. We create challenges as well. We focus on pretty much making sure that people focus on the right things in terms of being successful with technology. So, yeah.
So there you go, being the sweet spot of the DAV, which Connectix ideally operates as well, and which the Corn Office podcast is mostly concentrated as well. So the DMV area presents pretty nice cascade of business to the entire nation. Let's say how the DMV area operates in terms of tech and how the Respect the Tech has been so far from the time of its inception.
Yeah. Yeah. So, from my perspective, really being in DC, it's everywhere you go. You can go to a lobby in some hotel. There's plenty of happy hours going on. And we live
Yeah,
in an area where we're right next to a lot of federal environments, right? Federal government, there's a lot of federal employees. There's also a lot of entrepreneurs as well, especially with tech. It's a very diverse and focused area where you have a lot of people that are talented, but also work hard. You know what I mean? I've definitely gained a lot of sense of direction in terms of just stepping out there and, going to these different professional events and meeting people that work on the things and focus on the things that I'm focused on, especially with tech.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
been a while. All right, let's move pivot back to Respect the Tech. You mentioned that both you and your founder
Mhm.
are coming from cybersecurity background, and you guys, quote unquote, predominantly into educating people, making them aware of what the prevalent tech is,
Yeah.
and then growing. Why that kind of approach to expanding the business, and how successful have you guys been so far
Yeah,
from the time of inception of Respect the Tech? Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. So we started a little over 2 years ago now. And what inspired us, because my background personally, like I told you, I work professionally in the industry. I've been building my experience, still am to this day. I come from a background where I went to a boot camp. I went to a boot camp and I pretty much had this accelerated program where I learned all of the technical skills in terms of gaining the certifications, the relevant certifications for cybersecurity in this case for me, and then also having the hands-on experience with the internship through this organization called Europe. It was a Europe program. Right now they go by the
Okay.
name Europe United. I don't know if you've heard of them, but that's how I
Yeah.
got my
Yeah.
start. Okay, you've heard of them? Okay. That's good to
Yeah.
know. Yeah, so that's how we started. I met Yassine, my business partner Yassine. I met him at Europe,
Yeah.
and really it changed my life in terms of not just being a part of that program, but also being around those people that were just as motivated as me. Um, I found that time that I spent being there, I was able to sit down and really decide what I wanted to focus on and also be strategic in terms of who do I keep around me? What kind of people do I keep around me to keep me focused? And that was very important because that's how I was able to get pretty much all of my success still to this day because of me being able to keep that mindset and then also keeping the right people around me to maintain that mindset. So that's why we made Respected Tech because I had my values, DC had his values, and we have more people on our team. Like we have a common set of values that we've realized are very important for maintaining success in this industry. So
Yeah.
yeah, when you have Respected Tech, that's what we ignite. That's what we motivate. Respected Tech, you show up how you, and then that determines how you show out. You know what I mean? And I can tell you a lot more about that, but that's where it came from. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Igniting the spark, hence respecting the tech. And I love what you said. I'll single that out. I've mentioned it again and again during the past episode as well. Keeping a close set of people around you, the ones that matter, the ones that motivate you, the ones that make you say, hey, you get up and say, hey, I'm going to bet on this and I'm going to bet on it. Because it says that you're the average of the 5 people that you associate the closest or the most.
Yeah.
And it seems like you're, associating the right ones. But that's about having the needful people and the environment for you to grow the business. But coming back to what you were just saying, you said let's talk more about what you guys were doing, respecting the tech. So
Mhm.
let's talk more. Let's exactly say how and why respect the tech stands out in comparison to rest of similar service providers and similar companies.
Mhm.
How and why where respect the tech stands out.
Yeah, for sure. So we started everything with really hosting workshops in the area. So DC, Maryland, Virginia, like I said, and we prioritize the actual labs. We gather in person and we have a
Yep.
lab that we build ourselves. Usually it's in the cloud, so AWS is what we specialize in. So a lot of times we'll host our labs in AWS and we'll provide that opportunity for people to come into practice. But then at the same time, you get that perspective from real professionals in the industry like myself, like my business partner, like folks we have on our team that,
Yep.
like I said, understand those certain values that really matter for maintaining
Yep.
success in our industry. Through that whole experience, when you're doing our workshops, when you're doing our challenges, which I'll tell you about as well, but when you're
Yep.
a part of us, when you're competing with us, when you're learning with us, you're also getting that mindset, that motivation as well. So when you see that logo,
Mhm.
you wear our merch, all those kind of things, it's a whole experience. You know what I mean? That's what I would say is different for us when you decide to become a part of us is it's a whole experience. It's a mindset. It's an actual practical thing with the labs, practical things with the challenges, but it's fun as well with the creative aspect with the challenges. We have
Yeah.
respect there. I told you about some of the AI chatbot challenges that we built and the
Yeah.
Wi-Fi hacking challenges, like stuff like that. Like we
Yeah.
definitely we coming up with ways all the time in terms of how can we motivate more, how can we get more creative with education, with technology, because we get what
Yep.
matters. You know what I mean?
It does. It does. It does. And the
Yeah.
concept of gamification, especially when it comes to tech, and especially when it comes to an age where tech is changing by the wink of an eye, you wake up another day, another new tech, another new tool,
Hmm.
another new whole arena of business, which wasn't there the day before. So gamification and knowledge and education through gamification is something that is up and coming, and you guys are one of the first movers, I would say, especially in the area to provide new education and workshops. But going by that notion, let's speak of a few successful education campaigns or workshops that you guys ran
Hmm.
recently and how it was the experience, the feedback
Yeah.
that matters a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I could tell you about 2025
And
off
let's
the
speak.
bat. Yeah, so we just had our first conference where
Yep.
we hosted pretty much our own challenges. We gathered everyone and we over the years, over the especially the past few months, we've created these challenges, we've made partnerships and things like that. So we wanted to have an opportunity for people to come and actually decide which challenge they want to partake in.
Yep.
And it was a full allocated time for people to come. You decide what you want to
Yep.
do. And then it's also networking as well because you might run into someone that's doing the same challenge as you, or you might run into someone that's doing something different. But at the same time, everyone's practicing, everyone's focused on something, and there's incentives to win. So we gave out a $50 prize, for example, for the folks, for the individual who won the AI chatbot challenge, for example. So we like to
Yeah.
do stuff like that. We've been to other conferences as well where we gave out more prizes. Most of the time, it's cash prizes for whoever wins. Between that, us having an actual conference, a lot of talks on stage and from the actual mindset, like I always say, I'm always prioritize that as well. the mindset. We had some great guest speakers. Kanika Tarver was one of them. My guy Addy. If you look on our website, you'll see us. If you look on our social media, you'll see us. That was great, right?
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
love going to
Yeah.
conferences, man. We love them. And we got to a few different ones this year. I'll tell you more about that. But that was a highlight, you know what I mean? And always been
It
there.
was. So it's a mix of love being around people and loving the tech and bringing both of them together.
Yeah.
The success of Respect the Tech has been so far. But going again from workshops, how has the feedback been? How have people embraced this particular approach in learning new tech?
Yeah. I would definitely say that everyone has their own approach, right? But
Yep.
you notice patterns. You notice patterns in terms
Yes.
of certain approaches, right? And what I mean by that is when people are looking to be successful in this industry, especially, right, it's important to know exactly what to focus on. And with these workshops, what we've noticed is when we have mostly cybersecurity workshops, because that's our specialty, we have folks
Yes.
that ask a lot better questions when there's something in front of them that they're doing, right? So it's no longer theory. Like cybersecurity is a buzzword. So you're
It
gonna
is.
go online and you might search what's the top paying jobs right now, and cybersecurity might pop up more than likely.
It would.
Yeah, and a lot of times when people just go strictly off of that, knowing that it's a buzzword and they haven't seen a single thing in tech, they haven't seen a single thing with the cybersecurity lab, they're going to ask you a lot of questions that are in theory that don't really have any perspectives. When we have these workshops and people are actually coming in person and they have something to do, the questions are a lot more focused and they're able to get somewhere with the answers that we provide because they have something in front of them that they're working on. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So getting a hands-on experience on some buzzwords or some fluff that they heard about and they say, hey, you're in cyber, I want to get on cyber as well.
Yeah.
They break the shackles to say, hey, this is what you're getting into. Is this something you like or is this something you don't?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Got it. That's a nice approach. A nice approach to say, hey, if this is not something for you, shouldn't you be in it? You shouldn't be in it. And if this is something for you, then here's the path. Or
Yeah.
here are the multiple paths. And also in an era where people are coming up with their own little micro AI or micro SaaS apps, people don't realize the importance of cyber. They just, I would say, donkey dump the
Mm,
information into the AI chatbots, thinking, okay, they're going to be secure, but they're not.
mm.
And essentially, people are missing out the importance of cyber and the related areas when it comes to building all these apps. So in that kind of area, I can safely tell you Respect the Tech is in safer hands and is off to a better future. But
Definitely.
that's just about Respect the Tech and what you guys have been doing. But you guys are also operating in the DMV area.
Hmm.
Let's speak of a few, I would say, important stats or information that you guys might have learned of the DMV area as respect the rest of the nation or anything interesting that kind of came out from the workshop that you created.
Yeah. To understand your question, is really you want to understand how this area compares to other focused
Exactly.
areas for tech.
Yep. And how this area stands out and
Yeah.
where you think this area has challenges in.
Yeah. I would
Yeah.
definitely say this area, it stands out in terms of it being so focused. If you go to, because there's a lot of different tech events, especially now, like you go on Eventbrite or these different platforms like Meetup,
Yeah.
stuff like that, you're going to find a lot of tech meetups. You're going to find a lot of code collectives and cloud this, cloud that. So I really feel like there's a lot of opportunity to find people that are working on technology. At the same time, I will say that because of that, it's it can be hard to decide which way to go. You know what I mean? Because it is, I guess the word is overly saturated.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's a global thing or something that across the country, but I definitely noticed that in DC and or you if you want to say the DMV, which I don't think it doesn't have to be a problem. Personally, we from respect to tech, from my perspective, a lot of folks still come and a lot of folks are when they attend our workshops or when they compete, we do have that consistency in terms of showing you like, hey, it doesn't have to be complicated. Just decide which way you want to go. You know what I mean? And you can get there. Here are the practical steps you could take. You will get there. You know what I mean? Just try not to get so all over the place. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Just be focused and be practical in terms of what it is that you're focusing on. You know what I mean? So it's like a
I
double-edged
can.
sword.
It is. It is. And people often get sidetracked
Hmm.
and they miss out on what they want to focus on, especially when it comes to tech. Because another day, another tech, everyone says, hey, this is good, you get sidetracked. Another day, this happens.
Hmm.
But when it comes to respect the tech, is there anything in particular that you have noticed, especially around cyber, that people often misunderstand, that you think people can improve on as a concept or as a service? Because you guys are providing the services as well to
Hmm.
other organizations. So in that stead, is there anything people understand as a misconception around cyber
But
that you can single out?
yeah, yeah, it's a two-sided question. It's a two-part question or answer I can give you because it's the who you asking. Is it the individual or is it the organization?
Yep.
I feel like as far as misconceptions, just with cybersecurity, for example, let's start with the individual. I
Yep.
will say that folks just think cybersecurity means one thing, when in fact there's a lot of different areas that you could choose from, and there's a lot of different specializations that you could choose from. I think the challenge with that is really just understanding which specialization resonates with you the most. So, for example, cybersecurity, there's offensive and then there's defensive. So,
Yep.
yeah, yes, offensive is more of a proactive approach. It's more of a proactive mentality that's needed that you need to take in terms of the actual work being done. Whereas defensive is more of it is proactive in a sense, but it's more so reactive because you're setting up fences and you're trying to make sure that everything is in place. So if something does happen, you can prevent it from happening. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's
Yep.
yeah, it's like really understanding what kind of approach you want to have in terms of your day to day life, in terms of your day to day work, and how does that resonate with cybersecurity, for example? So that way you can better choose which one you want to do. Are you an engineer? Do you want to build? Are you a builder? Or do you want to break things? Are you a hacker? Like those kind of questions you want to ask yourself in terms of just cybersecurity, right? Or just tech period. But just in this example, I wanted to say cybersecurity.
Yep. Yep. Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. And then when it comes to the services that Respect the Tech has been providing, I mentioned for the
Yeah.
past 2 years and for the foreseeable future, is there anything specific that Respect the Tech focuses on in cyber, or is it cyber in general as a service that you provide?
We gotta have things we focus on, man. Like from the full, like from the front, what's the word? Front to
It's a
back, or
must.
the
It's a must.
full, yeah, that we do have, we're able to provide pretty much everything in terms of cybersecurity needs, right? So when we work with a company or a business, we're not going to just leave some on the table and just, the rest. No, we do everything, right? But at the same time,
Yeah,
different folks have different needs. So
they
is your
have.
website compromised, for example? Is that an issue? And then we'll work with you based on that. At the end of the day, it's about first understanding and giving an assessment in terms of what the issue is, because
Yeah,
cybersecurity problems stem from issues, right? Some kind of compromise or attack, right, to somewhere in your environment or to your business. And we make that assessment and then we respond with our services based on that assessment. Do you need to
but
you need to have more systems patched? Do you have a lot of security vulnerabilities because you don't patch a lot of your systems? Yeah, we can help you with that, right? Or is it really just something where you're not really careful with how you manage your credentials and something was compromised because keys were leaked or a password was leaked somehow, somewhere, and you didn't even realize it. You know what I mean? It depends. We can provide all the services, but we also know that
yeah,
at the end of the day, everyone has their own needs.
it differs. It differs.
Yeah.
Uh, I especially like the approach that how the angle of awareness, gamification, and then to say, hey, this is what you're after in terms of workshops that the Respect Tech is coming up with and competitions, hence giving you guys the launching pad to then say, you experience this, why not experience a little taste of what we can provide as services? Now, that's, and I would say that's quite a smart approach in growing the company as well. To anyone who is trying to back on this angle to say, hey, this is a really good approach to expand and start on your own venture. Why this kind of approach, and how did this kind of approach came into being around workshops, gamifying, awareness, and then services?
Yeah, yeah, because that's a good question. I would say because education, man, it's really important. It's like, where are we without education? Where are we without knowing that what we learn and what we know and what we're aware of is the priority? You know what I mean? Especially in an industry like this, because things are always changing. And what were you gonna say?
No, no,
Oh
please
no,
continue.
yeah, I was going.
I like the approach. I like the approach.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like everything's changing always, and
yeah,
it's this industry is competitive. So what's
it
important, like
is.
I was saying, is keeping the right people around you, but also knowing that when you prioritize education, everything else comes
Falls
after.
in line.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everything else, if you're successful with your knowledge, you're successful with your education, everything else falls in line.
The more you know that you're in a problematic situation,
Hmm.
the less the chances are quite unlikely that you don't know the problems that you're going to face.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And when it comes to challenges, I'm pretty sure so far building up Prospect Tech hasn't been a bed of roses, not an easy walk, so to speak.
right.
What have been those challenges, and how have you guys maneuvered them so far?
I would say the main challenges well, just with business period, growing in this area. I really I don't want to give you a long list, but I will say that the main thing that we've experienced is really maintaining the consistency
Yep.
with the folks that are actually committed, because technology, it doesn't like it takes someone that is willing to learn, but also stay with it and not get discouraged when they find themselves in a situation where they're just completely confused, or they just feel inferior. Like they don't think for whatever reason that they're capable of learning this kind of information because they think it's too complicated or whatever. And they don't have that confidence to keep going. And I think that's been a challenge, but it's also at the same time, it's right in line with our mission with just motivation and making sure that people have the right mindset. You know what I mean? Because that's the difference between someone who is persistent and who isn't. It's their mindset.
It is.
So I would say that for sure.
Makes sense being persistent on trying to know what you don't know.
Yeah,
Uh, it is something that people lack, and
yeah,
something that kind of keep most at bay and say, hey, it doesn't it doesn't truly make them understand their true potential and copy their own little venture, perhaps. It could be in cyber, it could be in AI, it could be in services, it could be in construction,
yeah.
whichever it is, so to speak. Like that anecdote. But when it comes to the future of Respect the Tech,
Hmm.
what do you guys have in store for the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years?
Yeah,
Uh, yeah,
yeah. I got you. So really, the main thing is we're going to continue to expand on our gamified trainings. That's a
yep,
fan favorite right now, and it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. We love going to different conferences. We've been to a few this year. We went to DEF CON. We had a local conference, Chef Chocolate Con as well. We work a lot with Blacks in cybersecurity and done some things with them. And we plan on doing some more. We actually have something coming up with Blacks in technology as well, where we're
it,
hosting our hackbot AI chatbot hacking challenge. Yeah, man, we're just going to continue to do that for sure. The team is growing. We're starting to build out some roles where we are looking for some help. If folks want to work with us and be a part of the mission, we definitely have some opportunities for that as well. We're going to continue to build out our services, work with more small businesses and really any size business, but we're focused on small business right now in
yep,
DC, specifically DC, Virginia, Maryland. That's really what we're going to do. We're going to expand on the challenges. We're going to keep doing the workshops. Like I said, the team is growing. The Army, we are recruiting, be a part of the mission for
yeah.
sure. Respect the tech. And we're going to continue to work with these businesses for sure.
So there you go, audience. The Respect the Tech is recruiting as part of the Respect the Tech Army. And if any of you want to be part of it, keep your hands up. Mark will notice it. But That's the future. And wishing you guys the very best as well. And especially in a market where, so to speak, is a culturally melting pot with the entire nation being DC, Miller, and Virginia. And
Mhm.
obviously, there got hundreds and hundreds of small businesses looking out for services like this. And that's essentially where you guys stand out, embracing and teaching the tech through gamified workshops. But it's been a very insightful conversation so far, Mark. But anything specifically that you would want to leave with the audience at the end of this section that you would like to leave, perhaps?
Yeah. So look, I'm gonna say that for one,
Yeah.
if you're interested in cybersecurity, or really, let me just scale back. If you're interested in technology, if this is something that you're interested in doing, tap in with respect to tech. We are the go-to people, the go-to community that you can reach out to and talk to. We have social media, so respect the tech underscore on Instagram. We're active on LinkedIn. Check out our website, respectthetech.us. Reach out to me directly, Marc Lawrence, MarcLawrence on LinkedIn. And don't ever question whether or not you're capable. Just try it out first and then decide whether or not. That's what I'm going to say for sure.
So there you go, leaving with the wise words. Mark Lawrence once said, don't question yourself, just get onto it and then see whether you like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Love the sayings that you've been value dropping during the session. I'm going to single it out on the show notes, Mark. But it's been a really insightful conversation, and we'll share the social and the website links of Respect the Tech on our show notes as well once it's released and the audience can get in touch. But thank you so much. It's been a quite insightful conversation learning what Respect the Tech has been doing so far and the future, the challenges, and especially
Mm.
what you guys are after. Thank you so much. Really appreciate this.
Absolutely. No question.
Respect you as well.
Yeah.
And that's it for today's, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be with you again with another dizzy bizwizzer trying to understand what they're doing in the world of business and in their own little corner office. Till then, be safe and take care.